Betty Giles is a renowned psychic and futurist. In an earlier episode of Ghosts of Mississauga, she joined us at the Franklin House to make contact with the spirit known as Jessie.
I feel her very strong. Her spirit, her entity is staring at me right now. But at the top of the stairs there's a little girl, a little blonde-haired girl. And she's a happy spirit. Like they're very, the little ones I seem to pick up are happier. They're a lot happier. I think a ghost is an energy that hasn't totally settled, that at that moment they haven't settled. I think when people are settled and their spirits are settled, they don't come back a lot. As that experience of that show you just had me on, I believe that spirit, she wasn't settled. She wasn't a settled spirit. So a lot of them will hang around, but people want to hang on to spirits. But there's a need for her. She's helping some actually battered women, but mostly battered children is what I felt. That ghost is coming back to help. That's her purpose. So she's probably going to be there forever.
And that wasn't the first time Betty has peered behind the veil.
Ouija boards are scary. I had a bad experience with a client that did that. Picked up a bad spirit, and when he would come to me for a session, he would start talking in this little boy's voice that he picked up through the Ouija board, his name and everything. And he actually had to be exorcised. He had to go to a priest. He'd phone me in the middle of the night. That's when I kept my phone on late in those days. And he'd start talking in this other voice. He had a huge mental breakdown, and everything happened to him, all from a Ouija board. You know, would come through the phone lines. I could actually pick up the spirit. I could see it in my room, hovering over my bed. I pulled the covers right up. I thought, no, I don't want to do this, because sometimes it's hard to shake them off. That wasn't a positive. I don't know what happened to that poor child's spirit, but he was very, very damaged and very abused, and I couldn't do anything. I think I did help release him through contact with the priest, getting the fellow to go and get the help. That was as much as I got involved. I thought I can't go any more than that.
After that frightening experience, it's not surprising that Betty cautions people about the potential dangers of using Ouija boards and tarot cards.
I watched a lady do a reading on a Ouija board and pick up a spirit's actual name of someone that had passed away that no one knew about the room, and then she was in such a trance, she walked right through a plate glass window afterwards. I was there when it happened. It's just my personal experience. I don't like Ouija boards and I don't like tarot cards. But that's only me. Other people tell me, read mine every day, but I don't have any problem. So it just might be my sensitivity and my negative experiences. Like even mentioning them, it gives me an incredible headache. I know a lot of people enjoy them, and if it works positive for you, that's great. I just don't like seeing that death card. I don't like the look of it. It just, somehow I look into it too deep. So I had bad luck anytime they came into my presence, so for me personally, I stay away from them. A regular deck of cards I can read.
Betty believes that her talent for precognition comes from a connection to the universe. Her mother also had strong psychic ability, and now Betty's daughter and granddaughter have inherited the gift. But Betty gets a little help from a spirit guide.
Doug Kelly, and he was a friend of mine that passed suddenly in a motorcycle accident. But any major changes that happened in my life, he would come through. He would come through so strong in that dream and warn me. When there was an infidelity in the marriage, he came to me in a dream with a bright red light, and he was pointing at a letter. Don't open that letter. It's coming any day. I didn't know about any letter. When that letter came 2 days later, I opened it and it just killed me. Like it was the other woman writing. And I believe we have many different guides that come at different times in our lives, but this is one fellow that, even if I hear the name Kelly, it's a trigger that there's something positive or a change that's happening in my life. So I'm very, very lucky, but I do feel like I have a native guide here. I'm very close to Six Nations, so I do pick up a native guide here too that comes to me occasionally. He comes in with different clients, so that's positive. And I do believe it's a God-given gift. So I'm very spiritual, and I believe in what the universe hands us too. So I'm believing in all of those things.
Although Betty and I have been friends for over a decade, I have never allowed her to do a full reading on me before. But this time, I opened up, and much to my surprise, Betty's reading of me was eerily similar to Carrie's.
Well, I feel like you're holding back an awful lot. You get a lot of visions of being of where you're supposed to go, but you're not following through on it enough. You're thinking about it, and then it's like it's too late. You've missed many golden opportunities. So this is the year of releasing everything, of letting go. This is your freedom year. This is the year you're supposed to say to the universe, I'm yours. Take me where I'm supposed to go. I'm not fighting it anymore. One major line I wrote down early in my life was, do not fight progress and change. And I wrote it in huge letters. That's when I was getting out of my marriage or making business or personal decisions. That's what you need to do. Stop fighting progress and change.
Why do I do it?
It's the old protective child. What if I fail? What if I disappoint myself or others? And you're not. You're a super successful, spectacular, warm woman and a warm little child that I've just taken and rescued, hugged her, kissed her, and gave her the love that she needed more of.
And the accuracy of that statement completely unnerved me. Like most people, I never talk about the things that worry me the most, but Betty was spot on. So much so that I actually stopped our interview because she was too close to home. But that's the chance you take when you open up to a psychic. Coming up on Ghosts of Mississauga, uncovering your psychic ability.
The strongest ones are the ones that fight it. I fought it myself.
For more true stories of the paranormal or to share your own experiences, check us out at www.ghostsofmississauga.com.